If you keep doubting yourself, don't be surprised when the universe does too.
Manifestation isn't about waiting, it's about becoming.
Hey babes.
I'm Madeline.
And I'm Deja.
And welcome back to the Elegance Exchange. So today we're really going to help you embrace your future self. You know, it's starting to become a new season, it's starting to get a little colder outside, and we're kind of seeing that revamp in everybody. Everybody's kind of getting their energy back.
Now when we picture who we want to become when we get older, we are always like, okay, well, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to be this, but we never actually go and do it. We're so fast to be like, okay, I'm gonna do this and do this, but it's so much harder to actually go and do it.
Exactly. So the first step that you need to take to really embrace this future version of yourself is think of what you want to become, right? If you don't have a clear picture of who you want to become and what you want to manifest, you're never going to get very far. And so you really need to embrace your alter ego, which this can sound kind of funny, but honestly, it truthfully is such an important feature because a lot of the times when we think of our alter ego, we think of a very confident, outgoing version of ourselves. Or maybe you want to be a little bit more quiet and reserved, a little bit more mysterious. Find that alter ego. I want you to come up with a name, okay? I know it sounds funny. Come up with a name. And start to almost play this character.
That's it. That's mostly what it is. Like, you're kind of just like creating your own character, and then you're acting as if, you know, how you'd want the character to act. So it's not really more about you, it's more like, how would this person act going into this situation? Which is where it comes really good when it comes to going into different situations. Because no one wants to go into a situation where like you don't know what to do, or you're kind of left like wondering what the next step is. But when you create this alter ego, then you're kind of like, okay, well, if this person was to be in this situation, they would do this. And that's kind of where you have to go with that.
Exactly. You really just need to embrace this alter ego to help start to transform your brain and transform your mind into manifesting what you want to become. But you also can make a soundtrack. And this is something that I think is so fun and so just like, I don't know, it's just a little bit different. Create a Spotify playlist, Apple Music playlist, YouTube, whatever. Create that playlist with songs that you want your future self to only like embrace and become. So I know for me, I love Young and Beautiful by Lana Del Rey. It's very classy, it's very elegant, it's very beautiful, and that's kind of what I want to embrace. Whereas Deja,
my favorite song is like the Use Your Heart one, and like if you listen to the song, it's very soothing. It's very soothing, very bright. It's not like a sad, gloomy song. Like when you hear it, you kind of like picture like those bright colors and everything. Like that's how I would want to be perceived as. Exactly.
So create your soundtrack and make it positive, okay? Don't add a bunch of sad songs on there, because why are you wanting to embrace the sad life? That's not what we want.
And if anything, music is the biggest reflection of you, because you know how like sometimes we listen to people or we meet people and it's always like, oh, what's your music taste? And you hear their music and you're like, okay, wait, like I can kind of see that. No one wants to listen to someone's music that's like sad and gloomy and depressing, and then you're kind of like,
No, that says a lot about you.
Because think about it, music is also one of those things that you're always taking into your head, and then it kind of intertwines with you mentally. So when you're consuming that much negative and gloomy stuff, you are also going to be like that. So it's so important for it to be positive and uplifting.
Right, and would your future self listen to it? I think that's also a really big question to ask. A lot of the times we go through these very stressful situations and you don't really know how to handle yourself. You don't know how to go about the situation. But if you ask yourself, what would my future self do? A lot of the times that will clear the air. That'll be like, okay, I need to be mature about this breakup, or I need to be mature about that situation that I didn't want to handle and that I wanted to go key somebody's car about. Would your future self do that? No. So why are you doing it now? Because you're never going to become that future self if you don't start improving yourself.
You need to start acting as if you are that person. Overall, that's what it is. Because like we were saying, you know, if you're in a situation and you don't know what to do, and you have an idea of the person you want to be, you cannot act like the person you are now and be like, I'm gonna go key his car and I'm gonna go slash all his tires.
That's not gonna get you very
far.
No,
but at the same time, you still want to be nice and perceived as mature and responsible. Those are two completely different things. So you have to act as if, you know, how you would act if you were the other version of yourself.
Right, and you also need to start embracing the micro habits. Your micro habits are so fundamental and they're so important, and this is something that, you know, can truly shape who you are. So really start micro-learning. This is something that's great whenever you're a super busy person, and it's something that I have found myself to be doing more and more recently. So basically, pull up a podcast. Maybe you're doing that right now by listening to us. Pull up a podcast, pull up a self-improvement audiobook, or maybe just an informational audiobook, or some sublimals on YouTube. You know, pull something up that is going to help you, and listen to it whenever you're driving, listen to it whenever you're cooking, you're cleaning, doing anything, listen to it.
It's the same thing with the affirmations. You know, whenever you start your day, you want to start off with maybe an affirmation, like what you're going to do, or you can start off your day with, I am going to be productive. And that kind of starts off your day as, you know, okay, we have an idea of what we need to do. We have a list of tasks we need to get out the way, and that's what we're going to be working on. You can't just have this mindset and be like, I'll do it later, or I'm always better procrastinating. We need to start off with some affirmations to kind of set the mood of the day. And I promise you, it will impact who you are too as a person.
Right. We always say to say that you love yourself, say that you're so beautiful, and that you're so intelligent and smart and funny and kind. Really show up for yourself and say those every single day. A big thing too is showing up for yourself within your habits, like Deja was talking about. It's better to show up for 3 minutes than not show up at all. If you can simply do 10 push-ups a day or 10 crunches and show up for maybe that 3 minutes, it could truthfully really impact your life in ways that you wouldn't think. And the most successful people know that if you can show up for 3 minutes every day, that's better than not showing up at all.
And I could second that too, because I recently started getting into more of like a night routine. So I'd go like 20 minutes and I'd be like, okay, let me prepare myself for the rest of the day. So I'd lay out my clothes, I'd clean my room, I would make sure I gathered all my stuff so that whenever I woke up, I already had my clothes laid out, I already had my stuff put together. All I had to do was put on my clothes, get ready, and then walk out the door with my things. And it really has impacted my day because, you know, everything's smooth. I'm not rushing to go and find stuff. I'm not rushing to look for another sock. Like everything is just there.
Exactly. And speaking of your clothing, start to embrace the kind of style and aesthetic your future self would have. I know for me, I love the old money aesthetic. I love the very classy look, okay? So maybe I will start to embrace the darker tones, maybe more monochromatic looks, or maybe I even make my Instagram a little darker, a little bit more monochromatic. Start shifting your life and what it looks like into the aesthetic that you want to become. Kind of create a vision board in your brain of what you want to look like and how you want people to perceive you.
Speaking of people perceiving you, this is where the social media comes in. So what we like to call it as like a social media reel. So whenever you start posting on social media, you want to start posting stuff that you would want to be perceived as. So for instance, if you want to be perceived as, you know, someone that's always traveling or someone that's always doing something, you're always posting stuff, whether it's about you going on an adventure or you visiting new places. Or if you want to be perceived as being very organized and very studious with academics, you'd be posting stuff, you know, your little stories about you studying or you reading a book.
Exactly. Start to show off that lifestyle. We always say that social media is the highlight reel, and unfortunately that's the truth, but nobody wants to post themselves in a bad manner, okay? I don't, Deja doesn't, you don't. So really embrace it and start to make it into how you want people to perceive you. There's nothing wrong with that. Start reposting videos that you relate to that are, you know, maybe a little bit more motivational. Maybe it says that the reasoning why you love your favorite color. Maybe it's staying home at night and like cooking a fancy dinner and having a little self-care day. Maybe you're reposting stuff like that. Just start to kind of show up for yourself and show other people what you want to be perceived as. It's not that hard, and it's truthfully something that can change the way that you look at your life and other people look at your life.
It also changed the way that you feel, because once you start imagining and really embracing and acting as if you are this character, you will become that character. But you can't say, oh, I want to be very studious and academic and my future self is very organized, but then you don't go and be studious and organized.
And you go out and party every night.
Exactly. Like those are not going to align with each other. So it's your job to make sure that it does align. Now, we're not saying that you can make your life, you can't imagine this character and then boom, you're automatically this character the next day and everything goes smoothly. No, it's going to have to be, as always, those small, tiny build-ups, but you have to take those steps or you're not going to go anywhere in the first place.
Exactly. So that's pretty much it for this episode. It's probably going to be a little bit shorter, but truthfully, you don't need us to go into depth about why you need to manifest and why you need to change your life, because if you're watching this video, you already have that feeling. So we just wanted to give you a few little tips. But with that being said, we are on a bunch of different social media platforms.
We're on TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram, and we've recently added Instagram threads to our list. So you can mostly catch us almost everywhere.
And also, those are all linked down below, and then there's going to be 2 videos here or here, and then our subscribe button, so definitely make sure to like and subscribe for this video. And yeah, alright, we love you babes. Bye!